Man's own.
And there we see Andrey Esipenko there on board 3. He will face off against Vincent Keymer. Vincent
Launch the first surprise. He's forced Vincent to think as well, which is the first psychological gain in the opening.
Yes, and that is certainly a game. And
quickly from the start, we saw this game begin life as a Reti opening, white starting with knight f3, and now it transposes to, I'm not sure the exact name, the hybrid of the English opening and the Reti, with white putting a pawn on c4 and not transposing to the Catalan, which white could have done with putting a pawn on d4, but instead being flexible with bishop to g2. And this is a move order trick. It's hoping that black just continues to develop normally, and then we would see one of the main lines of the Catalan, but you've cut out all of black's options and pretty much forced black into this little box where d takes c4 is by far the main move. Instead, black is the one to occupy the center with d4. Vincent, he's very ambitious, and I'll note that Vincent, he's an expert on the white side of these types of openings. He plays these flank openings, Retis, kind of day in, day out, so he'll know what's going on. And after knight c6, the main move is d3, as played in a World Championship match between Jan Nepomniachtchi and Magnus Carlsen. But e3, a bit more provocative. It's kind of asking black to plant a pawn on this square and saying, okay, you can plug my development, you can block everything, but this pawn is no way home for it. It's a bit distanced from the rest of his army.
Yeah, it's a little bit distanced. You want to be careful with pawns like that. You have to, I learned a good, useful rule when it comes to whether you should advance a pawn that far up, and that's like you have to consider the future, and you have to just calculate whether you can support that pawn. If you can't, like for instance, if you go d3 and you're unable to get e5 and e4, then don't go d3. Because it's just going to be all alone, quiet, and lonely.
That poor pawn on d3
soon will be removed. So
I'm expecting a move such as bishop to c5. I think this was the setup Vincent wants to enact. If, for example, white had played d3, then the really trendy move is bishop to c5. Just to develop very naturally, quickly castle, quickly play e5. And we have a reversed Benoni, pretty much. The pawn structure normally arises when, with reversed colours. But, okay, e3, I'm wondering if there are any tricks. For example, bishop c5, capture, and can white play the move b4? Attacking this bishop. Just trying to take advantage of the move orders, and
then you go queen check. And after knight c6, then knight to e5.
Knight to e5. I think I've seen this position before, actually. Spent too much time on chess. Here, black has various moves, including even rook to b8, indirectly defending this bishop. And for example, if we see captures, then white regains the pawn, but black defends the bishop, and black is fine after bishop to d7. So okay, we do see a move from Vincent Keymer. It's not bishop c5, with that slightly odd variation being pretty much forced. Instead, e5 and Anish Giri, just like yesterday, he's back lurking in the background, checking out all of the openings in the tournament. e5 played, and capture.
And perhaps trying to get some inspiration. And talking about inspiration, well, after pawn takes pawn, I'm guessing black will have to recapture with the pawn, because otherwise the pawn will fall on e5. And how this position, when I play this type of position with colours reversed, it's just all about securing the e line and getting rid of a piece, a minor piece. Usually a knight will come to e5.
Yeah. So for example, a variation like this, and white would be very justified in throwing a knight into e5. If you don't rush with this, you might get a bit cramped with white due to black having a further advanced pawn in the centre. Often, as far as I know, the theory revolves around bishop f4.
Yeah. trying to
Let's go back to this
draw
one.
an impossible game.
He's actually gone for this trick that you mentioned, Ivanka.
Yeah.
Look at Vincent Keymer, a bit like Duda earlier, who did in the end resign. He's suffering. I thought he was going to try that checkmate trick. Why not set up one final trap? But
He has one. I've spotted it.
yeah, trick.
So he wants to go bishop takes g3.
Yeah. So for example, if White is careless and not even sure how White allows this, to be honest. Let's say White plays something like bishop b6.
Oh, then bishop takes.
Bishop takes g3, but the problem is, okay, yeah, that's a check.
Oh, then I
drops
can
back.
step. Yeah.
Okay, and the idea after bishop takes g3 is that it is poisoned. This would be a checkmate. Turn around. But yeah, Esipenko's barely pausing. He eyeballed his opponent there. He played rook a5. He's like, when are you going to resign, mate? And this might be the clincher. Rook a5 challenges the rooks, and we see a handshake. If the rook moved, rook a3 check would have ended all resistance.
Yep. Oh, well, Esipenko playing a fantastic game. You know, full control from start to finish with a perfect opening choice, surprised his opponent, and now great technique just to finish the game. It's just one of those games for Vincent Keymer where it just went wrong from the beginning and he couldn't save it.
Yeah, sometimes chess works like that at the top level, especially if you're black and you get hit by an opening bomb. Really hard to maintain the balance. Okay, so we have now 3 leaders in the women's section, but also 3 leaders in the open as things stand.
And that is Vidit and Esipenko and Deak. All on 6 points.
Not the usual names, not the usual suspects.
No. In fact, let's check the ratings actually. Where are they in the rankings? Deak is...
Interesting question. Deak is just over 2,700, so he would be in and around the top 30, 40 players in the world. And Esipenko, 2683, we see on our screens, underrated. He's been over 2720 before. Fantastic player. Whereas Vidit, also a very solid 2,700. So established players, but not maybe household names like Nakamura and Caruana that we would expect.
Okay, so I've got it. So the starting rank for Deak